Welcome to Sinister Radio. We're diving into the unknown, where the ordinary twists into the eerie, and the shadows hold stories few dare to tell. We'll be taking you to the edge of reality, where shadows blur and fear takes shape. Have you ever felt that chill on the back of your neck, as though someone or something is watching? Don't worry, you're not alone. We invite you to step into a world of unsettling and spine-tingling stories that will make you question what you know and what might be lurking in the dark. So dim the lights, settle in, and let the darkness in. I will tell a story about a boy named Tommy and the Happy Man. But don't let the name fool you. This is not the kind of happiness you'd welcome into your home. The story I'm about to share will make you question the innocence of a smile. Once you've heard it, you might start seeing him too. Are you ready to hear about a smile you'll never forget? Let's begin. When 8-year-old Tommy saw the Happy Man for the first time, it was on a rainy and cold night. While he lay tucked into his bed, a man-shaped figure was standing in his room. Behind the door, he was tall, dressed in some kind of dark suit, and had a big smile that stretched from ear to ear, impossibly wide, filled with too many teeth. The Happy Man's eyes never blinked once. He just stood there, smiling and looking at Tommy. In a split second, the Happy Man stood by his side at his bed. As Tommy was about to scream, the man in Tommy's room raised his long, bony finger to Tommy's lips as he was saying, "Shush, don't be scared." He smiled from ear to ear, leaned in and whispered, "I'm your friend." Suddenly Tommy wasn't scared anymore. He wanted a friend for so long after he and his parents moved into the new house in a new city. Late at night, Happy Man would visit Tommy, wake him up and tell him bedtime stories, tales of dark forests, silent lakes, and secret places where only special friends could go. Tommy loved the stories Happy Man whispered. When he was with Happy Man, he wasn't tired, didn't need sleep. Tommy felt so happy, he now had someone he could call his friend. A friend who would never lie to him, never upset him, only make him feel happy. One night, after telling Tommy a story about the silence in the forest at night, with his big happy smile, Happy Man said, "Let's play hide and seek. You hide, I seek. But remember, don't make any noise. If your parents hear us, they're gonna ruin our happy time, and you don't want that." Tommy smiled and shook his head. Tommy's parents started to notice his face was getting paler and paler. His eyes had dark shadows beneath them. His small body was growing weaker, as if something was slowly draining the life out of him. They asked him if he was feeling sick, but Tommy just smiled. A big smile. He didn't want to tell them about the Happy Man, his special friend with the big smile, who came each night to tell him bedtime stories and play hide and seek. Night after night, the Happy Man appeared, always waiting in the corner of Tommy's room, smiling. Sometimes before Tommy woke up, he moved closer, bending down until his face was few inches from Tommy's. One night, Tommy's mom peeked into his room. She saw the shadow of a man standing near Tommy's bed. He was looking at Tommy while smiling. He looked right at her with his empty eyes and big smile. Tommy's mom screamed and turned on the lights, but there was no one there, no man or no trace of him. She looked at Tommy, who was laying in his bed with his eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling and with a smile on his face. His mom ran towards him and called, "Tommy, Tommy, did something happen to you?" Tommy's mom held him in her arms and started to sing a lullaby he loved when he was a baby. His eyes began to blink again, then slowly closing, and fell asleep. Tommy's mom told his dad about the smiling man in Tommy's room, and they decided to take turns staying with him for the night. When Tommy's parents were asleep next to him, he would lay awake waiting for Happy Man to visit again. One evening, when Tommy's dad fell asleep beside him, Tommy sat up in bed and turned toward the corner of the room. And there he was, The happy man. He was waiting. His smile was wider than ever. The happy man whispered, "Do you want to be my friend forever, Tommy? Then take my hand." His long fingers reached out. Tommy always felt happy when he was with his friend, so he didn't hesitate. He reached out his own small hand, allowing the cold, sharp fingers to close around his. As soon as their hands touched, the happy man's smile twisted and stretching until it was an empty void, an abyss of darkness. His eyes gleamed with a terrible hunger as he pulled Tommy closer. The boy's body grew limp, his eyes vacant. In that moment, Tommy's father woke up. He looked around the room, and there was Tommy standing in the darkness. Tommy's eyes were wide open, his face frozen in a smile that mimicked the happy man's. Too big and too vacant smile. His dad tried to shake him, to wake him, but Tommy wouldn't move. He just sat there, staring at him with an unblinking gaze, his smile stretching impossibly wide. The room grew colder and colder as his dad got the feeling of a shadow creep over them, something dark and sinister that had come to stay. And Tommy, or what was left of him, never spoke again, only smiling that big, empty smile, as if he had finally found his happy place in the shadows, with his special friend forever. Thank you for listening tonight. But remember, even as we end tonight's story, countless others are lurking in the shadows, waiting to be told. So join us again, if you dare, when we return with more stories of the unknown. Until then, sleep tight, sweet dreams, and try not to let the darkness creep in. We'll be waiting for you till next time, right here, on Sinister Radio.